will lay my hammer down. It's Thursday. Do we have anything? We don't have anything funny yet? That's not the question. The question is, could Superman pick up Thor's hammer? Here's what he would do: is he would pick up Thor's hammer, but there'd be a chunk of dirt and rock around it. Yeah, so I don't know why I know that 77 degrees is the perfect temperature. And I'd rather be cold than hot. Hot, tired, and hungry? Hulk smash. Hello, adventure. So your network is actually your net worth. It's actually the value, the relationships. So that's why the more you pour into relationships and you make those relationships valuable, in a turn, you're helping yourself. So as we increase our influence, we can help other people increase their influence. You know, we're all recruiting for something. It doesn't matter if that's customers or whether that's future people to be part of that adventure. We're all recruiting. You want to recruit people onto your adventure. Part of inviting people into your adventure is you need to recruit some people to be part of that, even professionally. So one of the tools that I like to use is a social network called LinkedIn. And in this episode, we're going to give you just a really basic overview of that. You see, LinkedIn is almost like a living resume. It's also a way for you to help recruit, for you as you're wanting to find information, a mutual connection is, hey, I'm looking for someone in this industry, or I want to meet that person. They're friends with Aaron, who's a friend with Jeremiah, who knows them. It's a way for me to be able and be connected to them, to do research and find out a little bit more about them, and also check, what do other people have to say? It's not just what they write on the resume, but more importantly, as part of this collaboration generation is the endorsements to say, hey, I'm gonna go and I'm Niking them. It's an endorsement. There you go. You're good at this thing. So it's really, really awesome to use. Now, what I want to tell you is that it is something to add on to your platform. I know some of you are like, oh, another one I have to keep up with. No, what I want you to be able to do is know enough about it that you can maybe have a profile. And there are some social media platforms that I'm on it a couple times a day. There's some that like it's only every couple of days, and there might be one where I check in once a week on it. I think it depends on your network, who you are trying to reach. You know, there's some interesting stats about LinkedIn. The first one is there's a new person on LinkedIn every 2 seconds. So it's a really, really growing platform, but it's more for professionals. If I'm trying to reach 20-year-old college students, LinkedIn isn't going to be the platform for me. But LinkedIn is going to help you reach those professionals. So for example, there are some people that are on LinkedIn that aren't on the other social media platforms. So for example, the number of people that are on LinkedIn that aren't on Twitter is 59%. The number of people that are on LinkedIn that don't have a Pinterest page, 83%. The number of people that are on LinkedIn and don't ever have a Facebook account is 13%. I have a really good friend that's been a mentor to me, and he runs a really big agency, and he's really big in advertising. He has a lot of influence, but he doesn't have Twitter, he doesn't have Facebook, but he does have LinkedIn. And that's a way for me to be able to stay connected to him. So there's a lot of things that you can do on those platforms in that, just like many social media platforms, you can post an update. But the updates that I'm posting on LinkedIn are different than maybe what I'm putting on Facebook. Facebook, I'm getting more personal, but on LinkedIn, I'm really maybe getting into the business side, the business behind what I do. I might be posting about how the mobile market in learning is changing. People that are following me on LinkedIn would really, really love to know that, but on Facebook, they might not care. On Twitter, they might just want a couple of stats like that. So you still can use posts on that. It still works with many of the other tools. What's also great is you're gonna see how it's gonna integrate with other apps that we talked to you in our final days of the 100-day adventure. One of the stats that absolutely blew me away is that 41% of all millionaires have a LinkedIn account. And so again, this idea, it's professional, it's higher end. And what we want to do is show you just some of the overview of how LinkedIn works. Okay, I'm here inside of LinkedIn, and the first thing you'll see is updates. So what this will be is if I was posting some information of like, hey, here's some background info on LinkedIn, I might say, hey, here's maybe some of the tools or an idea or an article that inspired something. And so this is where I can have all my connections, and most of what you're gonna see is business information, things that are from that professional network, what they are
into. So for example, if I wanted to do kind of my own update, this is where I can share with LinkedIn, write my post, and then hit share that. So I'm doing a status update. That can be just different information about more of the professional side of what I do there. Now, from here, I can go and say, okay, let me kind of look at my profile here. And so I can have different connections that I have, look at my different info. And one of the great things on here is this skills and endorsements. These are people that have endorsed me. They're giving kind of that idea of they've knighted me. They've put their name, they've attached their profile picture to saying, hey, public speaking, entrepreneurship, social media, business strategy, business development. There wasn't a category for business thoughtfulness, obviously. So one of the things that is really great is that if I go back here, I can put like people that I may know. Now this is important, and let me talk to you about your contacts.
Okay, I'm gonna take a second here from showing you LinkedIn to really emphasize to you, you must be organizing your contacts. It's the last thing that anybody really wants to do, but you must start to work on that. Especially in these final episodes, it's gonna be so critical that you do that. We talked earlier in the episodes about like this Gmail account that you can create those groups. It's gonna be super important that you organize that, because then what you'll see is that's how you'll find like, oh, that person's on LinkedIn. Oh, that person's on Twitter. And you're able to make those connections, and then ultimately they'll be able to invite you, and that's gonna be super important for you to do.
Okay, so now that you understand how important contacts are, is because what it is doing is it's doing a couple of things. Number one, it is based upon my email address, based upon other things, but also mutual connections, people that you may know. And notifications, I don't have any currently, but this is also great of different messages that I'm getting. So if there's any messages, but also invitations that have been sent to me.
So there you have it, a quick overview. There's a lot more depth into LinkedIn, and we won't be able to get into all of that, but hopefully what's happening for you now is that you're learning, hey, I don't need to know where every button is and how it works. I'm an explorer, not a tourist. So I want you to explore LinkedIn. If you haven't set your account, go ahead and do that. But then what I want you to do is I want you to reach out and add some connections. There might be some connections just waiting for you already. But then what I want you to do is give out some endorsements. Go and endorse somebody else's adventure. Remember, you're not just an adventurer, you're a professional adventurer, and your adventure begins right now.